Hello everyone and welcome to my monthly vlog. This month I'm going to be talking about Queen Elizabeth, what a recession is and how to manage risk and your emotions when it comes to your investments. The Queen's death and subsequent funeral has dominated conversations, social media and TV and touched us all in some way. Whether you're a royalist or not, almost everyone I know respected the impact Queen Elizabeth II had in the UK and on the rest of the world. So when it comes to thinking about and reflecting on the impact the Queen has, in May this year, in the celebration of the Platinum Jubilee, Magenta wrote a blog about what we could learn from the Queen and how we can emulate some of her admirable qualities and values and bring them into our own lives. We'll drop a link to the full blog at the bottom of this video in the notes, but the top 3 things to come out of this blog were: Number 1, since 1952, there have been significant changes in society and in technology, all of which Her Majesty had to keep on top of and adapt to. She liked to keep her brain working and never stopped learning new things. The old adage, use it or lose it, was clearly served in her well, and we should aspire to continue learning throughout life. Every day is a school day. Number 2 was, while the Queen's role required her to wear many hats or tiaras and crowns, she preferred to tackle tasks one at a time with full concentration. A report in 2009 by researchers at Stanford showed that multitasking doesn't really work for most people, and completing one task at a time leads to better memory control and attention. And number 3, Her Majesty's life wasn't all about work and duty. Having fun was just as important, and there have been many stories come out about her wit and sense of humour, whether it was spending time in the countryside, playing with her corgis, visiting her horse stables, or skydiving into the Olympic Stadium with James Bond in 2012. Finding time to play and have fun helps us to mentally unwind from general challenges in life. Having hobbies and good social life are reputed to extend longevity and life expectancy, as well as general feelings of fulfillment. So I think there's a lot to reflect on and learn from the Queen and think about for our own well-being, life balance and values. The next topic, not so probably enthusiastic about this one, but is recession. What actually is a recession? A recession is when there's a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, measured by GDP, for 2 quarters in a row. Yes, it's a sign the economy is doing badly, but in reality, it's really an unavoidable part of the business cycle that we see happen again and again. A recession can happen for various reasons. This time, as most of us know, it's a culmination of things. The economic shock caused by 2 years in a pandemic, high inflation in the aftermath of that pandemic, and the 2022 spike in the cost of living, which in part is down to the war in Ukraine. So what can be done in a recession? Well, sadly, a lot of things are out of our control. But here are some recession-proofing tips to think about. Number 1, live within your means and have a solid budget in place, which really focuses on what you're spending on and try and stick to that plan. Cut outgoing costs if possible. Build up your emergency funds. Save what you can still, if there is any leeway at all, and don't make sudden financial decisions. Try not to make big purchases that sort of break through your budget and set it off course, or make quick or rash decisions. This leads me nicely into my final topic, which is understanding how to manage investment risk and your emotions. The markets have been volatile for 8 months now, and many of us are looking at losses in our portfolios. Losses hit us twice as hard as gains and can lead to making rash and panic decisions. It's very easy to panic as markets tumble, but sticking to your long-term plan is the best option, even when all your emotions are telling you to sell and get out of there. There's 3 things to think about when considering the risks you take when investing and/or the risk you continue to take with your investments. Number 1 is, do you really understand what you're invested in and the risks involved? You don't have to be an expert in it all. We can help you with that, but you do need to understand the basics. Number 2, what risks do you need to take? Not what you're comfortable with, but what you really need to take to achieve your goals and ambitions. Only with a good financial plan in place can you really know if you need to take high risk for potentially higher rewards longer term, or if you can take a more balanced approach, or indeed if you don't need to take any risk at all. Number 3, what can you afford? Consider if you have a sufficient emergency fund in place. What risk can you afford to take then with the balance of your investments? What if your investments and pensions should lose money? Would this affect you day to day and how you could live and pay your bills? If you've considered all these things and know you have invested your money after considering all these things, then this should provide you with some reassurance that the current market volatility is just that, volatility. We know that markets can go up as quickly as it can come down. Keeping your cash invested throughout the fluctuations is what helps your money grow over time. Reassure yourself that the experiencing volatility is part of the price of putting your money in the market, and it will happen again. The best thing you can do as an investor when the market collapses is usually nothing. Just ride out the storm, as terrifying as those things feel. And a personal tip of mine, if you struggle with your emotions getting the better of you over the market volatility, is don't look at your portfolio too often. Try not to get fixated on the news reports and stick to maybe reviewing it or going online to look at the value once or twice a year. I hope you found this month's content interesting, and if you want to have a chat about financial planning, then do get in touch and we'd be delighted to help.